Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I am a night owl.
Coffee or tea?
That's a tough one. I'll go with coffee with milk and sugar.
Do you have any routines you use to improve your energy and focus?
I try and walk my dog in the mornings, and I try and use that as 30 minutes of thinking time, although I sometimes end up doing one-on-ones. But the 30 minutes of thinking time really help.
You're cooking for the whole team. What is your signature dish?
I could make a really nice vegetarian pasta with tons of vegetable, penne pasta, and a marinara sauce.
If you could pick up a new skill in an instant, what would it be?
Dancing.
What's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given, and why was it so bad?
I was once told that you don't have a hangover with tequila. I will let you understand why that was bad advice.
What is the most useful thing you own?
I was going to say my phone, but that seems like a complete cop-out because everyone would say that. So the most useful thing I own is my phone.
What item do you never travel without?
My toothbrush.
Who has inspired you in life and why?
Oh, my mother, without a doubt. She has taught me to be fearless. She has taught me to learn from failure. And most importantly, she has taught me the value of honesty.
What book or books made a big impression on you lately?
I recently reread a book called Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. He writes a bunch of books, very easy to read, and Leaders Eat Last is a great book about, again, leadership that I would encourage any leader to take some time to read.
Hi, my name is Zosia. I'm an employer branding specialist in Wrike, and today I'm having a coffee with Abhay Rajaram, who visited us in the Prague office. Hi Abhay, how are you?
Hello, I am doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Great, thank you so much for joining. We will talk about Wrike's culture, about Wrike's organizational structure, our position in the market, and more. But before we get to it, please tell me your story. How did you join Wrike? How did you embark on that journey? And how long have you been with us?
Well, I've been with Wrike for 4 years now, probably the 4 best years of my work career. By luck, I had someone reach out to me and talk to me about Wrike, and I fell in love with the value of the product. I've been at companies where I've enjoyed the team, the market, but not necessarily had the best product. And I truly believe that to be passionate about what your company does, you need to be passionate about the value you deliver to your customers. And I feel like the Wrike product really got me excited.
Is there anything else that makes you happy at Wrike? What do you think is the biggest factor that influence your happiness at work or happiness at work in general?
A big part of my job is making sure that we bring the best talent into the organization, and I kind of believe that at the end of the day, you can have a great product, which we do. You could be in a wonderful market, which we are in, and oftentimes even if you have those two, you aren't guaranteed success. The interesting thought for me is, if you cannot guarantee success, what is it that you can try and do for people that are, working for you or for the company? And you want to try and give them some kind of baseline sense of happiness. And I actually think about it that way versus anything else, because at the end of the day, you want for people to feel a sense of happiness corresponding to maybe what they do on their weekends when they have free time. And to me, quite honestly, market, product, are sort of within your control, but not. But the most baseline factor that I think drove happiness for me in my past life, and I feel does for most people, is the team. It's the people, more so than anything else. Again, I've been very lucky to have found that at Wrike.
Could you describe Wrike's culture in your own words? What is Wrike culture for you?
Culture is an evolving being in many ways, and I think it evolves organically based off of everyone in the company. I feel like when a company tries to articulate its culture and almost impose it upon a team, it isn't real, and it tends to be somewhat fake or made up. Resilient comes to mind a lot. I think Rikers just know how to deal with stuff, be it change, be it challenges, be it interesting opportunities. it just feels like the team knows how to navigate through anything that life throws at us, be it a business challenge, be it a life challenge, be it a great fun opportunity. I think we have a strong bias for data-driven execution, which is really an important factor in terms of laying the foundation for being very objective about what we do, transparent about what matters and what doesn't matter, and being able to hold ourselves accountable for the outcomes that we're trying to drive. Two other things come to mind. One, it is actually one of the values that we focus on a whole lot, and that is a collaborative mindset, which kind of makes sense for a company that works on a collaborative work management solution. And the last thing, which I think is very demonstrative of Wrike's culture, is we like to have fun. You know, we like to have fun in just the most organic and the most happiness-driving way. So I enjoy hanging out with any Wriker, and I think that's core to our culture.
And you partially answered my next question. It's, by the way, a question that I also asked Andrew, a Wrike CEO, the other day. I will link the interview with Andrew in the description below, and we can compare your answers. You mentioned some skills or values that every Wriker has, but like some of them we can develop, during our time in Wrike. Mm-hmm. But what's something you think that everyone who aspires to be a Wriker, who wants to join the team, has to have in order to be successful, in order to fit in with the culture? The
willingness to, truly embrace change and newness and new initiatives and interesting challenges is, I think, embedded in us and our culture, and it kind of is a factor of how exciting of a market we're in. Things change. I think having a very deep customer focus, regardless of the role, mm-hmm. is something that I think every successful Wriker demonstrates. Having the execution and data-driven focus, I think, is very important. And we move fast, and we like that. We make mistakes, and we like to learn from it. And all of that comes from being grounded in a clear sense of what the data tells us and how we want to drive moving forward. What opportunities does Wrike offer to the employees in order to further develop skills, to gain new skills, to nurture their existing skills? Simply kind of going through a journey at Wrike is an incredible learning experience unto itself, because we deal with a lot of changes in the market. We deal with a lot of interesting challenges and opportunities that present themselves because of the dynamic nature of the market that we're in. And so I think I can think of so many examples of people that through their journey at Wrike have continued to learn and evolve purely by virtue of focusing on doing what's right for the customer and for the business. Mm-hmm. A few things that we do in a structured way. I think across the company we're very supportive of employees exploring ways to grow either within their roles or across roles. Again, there's so many examples of employees that maybe started in customer support and transitioned into a customer success or a services role, and then moved into a product role and continued to grow in product leadership roles, which isn't necessarily something that they may have envisioned when they started, but the fact that the business opportunity existed and the fact that we really embrace and encourage people to explore ways in which they can add more value to the company, I think is a really important one. A few other structured ways in which we focus. We continue to try our best to build very clear skills matrices and competency matrices for our employees, so they have a good understanding of what it takes to get to the next level, either in their role or into a leadership role. We also have leadership development programs in various functions that allows for emerging leaders to test the waters and see if that is something they really enjoy or aspire to. And that's something else that we focus on a whole lot as well. So I think there's quite a few structured programs we have to help employees go through these. And there's the open opportunity that a company like Wrike, in an exciting space like we're in, offers organically to employees if they are interested in exploring opportunities. What's the most outstanding career story in Wrike that you recall? She started off as a sales development rep in our sales team, got promoted into an account executive, I was then starting to sell to new clients. Did such a phenomenal job there that she got promoted to various levels within the account executive function. And then as we were trying out the opportunity to be more targeted in our offering for our customers, started focusing on vertical solutions for our clients. She was our absolute, and of course she raised her hand to go try it out, and we supported her, became our top rep in selling to a particular vertical, after which point she actually wanted to continue pursuing the individual contributor route, spent a couple of years then selling to our top clients in the enterprise segment. Lo and behold, was one of our top enterprise sellers. And finally, she decided to make a decision to move into management, and is one of our most successful managers on our sales team. I know of a couple of wonderful stories starting from our support team in a couple of directions. One was a person that went from support to customer success to product management, and is doing a phenomenal job there. There's others that started from support, moved to professional services, and are now in our sales engineering team. And so these are just wonderful stories that come to my mind. It's very hard for me to pick one.
Could you tell us a little bit about the locations, and maybe what do you think makes each office unique?
In the Asia Pacific region, we have offices in Japan, Tokyo, and Australia, Melbourne. Really, really cool office locations with interesting cultures of their own. Our Japanese team is just, the sweetest bunch of Rikers you can imagine. I enjoy going karaoke with them. And you come to Europe, we have multiple locations as well. We have one of our first offices was in Dublin, which is also very high energy location, beautiful culture in the city, a very diverse team across product and marketing and services predominantly. And then we have a very strong team in Prague, also very multicultural, beautiful city. One of the the most engaging teams that I've seen. A new emerging office in Cyprus that I'm very excited for. It's a beautiful city, and the office is probably one of the most advanced buildings that we're going to see. We have a wonderful office in Tallinn, Estonia, that I hope to visit at some point. It's one of the locations that I have not visited yet. The United States, we have a couple of offices. We have one in San Diego, we have one in Dallas, and we have a pretty significant presence across a variety of other locations in the United States. We are fairly distributed and quite remote in the United States, and that's an interesting challenge and opportunity that we have. I've been lucky to visit a lot of offices, and the way I think about it is every office feels so nice and kind of unique, and every office feels like Wrike.
And in addition to the offices where we get our work done from, we also have a lot of remote employees around the world. It's a consequence or heritage of the COVID-19 pandemic and the switch to remote and hybrid work. Can you tell me how this transformation happened at Wrike?
The pandemic forced the transformation on us, and it was very quick. And I think it was by virtue of us being able to leverage Wrike, the product, that eased a few things for us. And of course, we leveraged technology, as you would expect, across the board. I think it's been difficult, don't get me wrong. I think the fact that, again, back to one of the adjectives I used, the fact that we can still preserve this very special Wrike culture is because of how resilient we are as a company. I'm sure every Wriker is yearning for the opportunity to hang out and work with and collaborate with other fellow Wrikers. And the fact that we've been able to still preserve some of that secret sauce is because of the culture that we have.
And were there any challenges during this transition? Because you mentioned that it happened pretty smoothly. But was there anything, or is there maybe something that you would bring back from the pre-pandemic time?
Oh, yes. I actually think Wrikers will enjoy spending more time with fellow Rikers. I do feel like we're now in a position where we have the opportunity in locations where possible for Rikers to actually collaborate in person with fellow Rikers. And I'm really looking forward to supporting that for our employees. Our offices are opening up, and we are trying to provide people the opportunity to be in an office and have all of the experiences that they had before and all of the benefits and perks that come with that. And so I would love for us to be able to do more of that, because it brings out the very special aspects of Wrike, which is the interaction with fellow Rikers. I feel like what will kind of amplify the secret sauce that we have is the interactivity with the teams.
This situation that we are in right now, the new normal, for me, for you, it's new normal because we remember the time before the pandemic when it was normal to go to the office. But we have a lot of professionals, young professionals who entered the job market in the past 2-3 years, for whom this is just normal, remote or now hybrid model. What's Wrike's stance on hybrid and remote work?
We're obviously supportive of employees, and we want to have access to the best talent in the market, and the best talent is all over the place. But to your point about early career employees, there is a value that I think they either perceive or have not yet experienced around the ability to, truly turbocharge the collaborative nature of their work, or truly experience the cultural aspects of working for a high energy technology firm that they might miss out on if they did not have the opportunity to interact in person. So again, I believe that we will continue to nurture the best talent and acquire the best talent wherever they are. And I feel we want to give more and more people the opportunity, especially early career people who may have started their careers without kind of having the in-office experience, to actually enjoy that. They might be surprised with how much they enjoy being able to grab a coffee or a lunch with their colleagues on a regular basis.
And having offices distributed across the world and a lot of remote workers, as we mentioned, how does Wrike ensure effective communication?
It's as much about communication and more about collaborative work and having visibility and accountability. In unstructured ways, we try our best to be as communicative using technology such as Zoom, or it's ad hoc communications, a whole lot of one-to-many communications using technologies like Slack, and of course using Wrike to have structured workflows around the work that we're trying to do. Over-communicate using mediums such as our all-hands meetings, which we have a company-wide all-hands every month, which I think we use to very openly communicate priorities, successes, challenges with the company. And then one other structure that we have across the company is this concept of OKRs that we leverage to try and align the entire company around what's most important for us. At any company that I've ever been at, the one feedback we get is you can always communicate more. And so we take that to heart and we try thinking about it, and I think we can always communicate more even at Wrike. The one very heartening feedback that I've received from many new hires after they join, 2 or 3 months after they join, I get Slack messages from them saying, "This is great. Thank you for being so open and communicative." And I think we take that very seriously, and we try and model that behavior as a leadership team as well. I'm sure we can do more. I do believe we do a decent job of very open communications and hopefully aligning the team on clarity and key goals through our OKR process.
We do leverage communication channels, and we communicate where communication happens. We don't really use processes for the sake of processes. We really put people first. And that's amazing that we are leveraging the channels that they are really using. And do you have any tips on how to engage remote employees and make sure that they don't feel left out?
This is something that we all focused on so much pre-pandemic. Even 10 years ago, I remember putting together a little PowerPoint presentation to my company. It was a much smaller company, about how we need to make sure that we're being inclusive of our remote employees. And it included even small, silly advice like be sure not to open a bag of chips when you're in a conference room because it gets very noisy for remote employees. And now we're all remote employees, and I think we've all learned how how to be best effective and communicative in a meeting of 15 people where all 15 of us are in front of a computer and in different locations. One of the things that we try and need to continue trying is applying this holistic mindset to whatever we do. And that requires some practice. I think it became nature for everyone to be viewed as a remote employee in the pandemic because we were. And I think we need to bring back the mindset of when we do something, be very deliberate about how that experience looks like for a person that is not in an office, be it a cultural event, be it a team meeting. I think being deliberate about it is the first step. And then how you do it kind of works itself out.
A lot of businesses didn't survive or they're struggling right now, and it also poses some questions about Wrike stability, growth, plans for expansions. Where are we now and where are we moving?
Within software, we're in an area of the market that is, has a very positive impact to the lives of information workers. The value that we deliver is in many ways amplified in scenarios where things like efficiency and cost management are more and more important as they are today. Because at the end of the day, one of the big values that we offer to our customers is kind of being able to best leverage their time and be able to do the thing that matters in the most effective and efficient possible way.
There's one question that we get a lot from candidates in the recruitment process. Is Wrike still a startup? Let's clarify it once and for all.
Well, it depends on your definition of a startup. I think we are past the stage of a startup. So we get all the benefits of what people perceive as the benefit of a startup without necessarily the financial risk and downside of a startup. So I think we have the best of both worlds. Because oftentimes a startup is in a stage of a business where they're trying to validate the product or try and find what they call product market fit. We have all of that. We are at scale, delivering incredible value to hundreds of thousands of users and tens of thousands of customers across the world. The one benefit of continuing to be a company like Wrike is you are able to innovate, you are able to move fast, you're able to learn, you're able to grow. Those are some of the benefits that people perceive are available in a startup, which they are, to be honest. And guess what? They're all available at Wrike. And so I think the question is, what are you looking for when you think you want to go to a startup? Because you may find that you can find all of that at Wrike and more without the downside.
Let's talk a little bit about Wrike as a product. For those who are not familiar with Wrike, we are developing a collaborative work management platform. What's our position on the market and what sets us apart from our competitors?
The way we see people, teams, companies adopt collaborative work management is more often than not, there are teams that are working on repeatable workflows or consistent projects or programs that find value in being able to do that in a consistent, highly effective and collaborative way. And oftentimes that value then easily gets evangelized across a department, and then we see a lot of teams transition into the entire departments adopting Wrike. And the most forward-looking companies in the world are actually looking beyond just the department and adopting a solution across their organization. For companies that we know are going to go through this evolution, I think the single most incredible value that Wrike has competitively is the power and versatility of our platform. We really allow for people to work the way they want to work, yet work across departments and teams in a singular way, which is kind of a really interesting opportunity that only Wrike provides as a platform. We have a lot of ability for you and I, potentially as a talent acquisition or employer branding team, to work exactly the way we want, use terminology that you and I use, but work just as closely with the rest of the HR team, and then work across teams to make sure that we have this ability to work as one and have visibility across the board. And we also do that by making the platform exceptionally intuitive to use and have a level of scalability that allows for the eventual outcome of an entire company adopting a solution like Wrike, whereas they may have started with a single team. And so I think the power and versatility of Wrike is unmatched and is the singular element that makes us unbeatable and unmatchable.
You are also the pioneer of Wrike's customer success department. Could you share some names of our most notable customers, their success stories, and what goals Wrike helps them achieve?
I'll start with interesting brands, some that people may have heard of. Sony is a fantastic example of a customer where the department at Sony that was responsible for creation of the marketing look and feel for packaging of PlayStation products started leveraging Wrike for their creative production process. And that small team grew globally from North America to Europe to Asia to a point where now it is a globally sanctioned and supported solution by their IT team. It's just a wonderful example of a fantastic brand name that started with a team, in this case in marketing, and then expanded across the board. Now, Estee Lauder is an example of a company, again, that leverages the versatility of Wrike so beautifully. They have people across the world in a variety of roles that span either a single product or people in a breadth of roles that spans products across the entire portfolio, or in roles that supports either one brand or multiple brands by a region. Mm-hmm. So there's this really interesting mishmash or matrix of what your role could be based off of your location, the scope, or the scope of the brands that you support. Can be a mind-boggling challenge for even the company to think about, and for them to find a platform like Wrike that offers the ability for anyone to have a view of the work they need to do and the people they need to collaborate with based specifically on their role.
And what's the leadership style and how does it impact business?
Did I mention data-driven? Yeah, so we are very data-driven. I think it gives us objectivity. We can be very objective about what we're seeing. It gives us a lot of clarity, and it allows for a lot of accountability. I think we hold ourselves to a very high bar, all of us, and we do that with very high level of respect and humility. So that's something that I really love. And it actually comes from our CEO, Andrew, who models these behaviors every single day. We do have functional roles, and we need to be accountable for our teams, and we need to care for our teams, and we need to make sure that we're supporting of our teams. When we come into the executive room, it's all about focusing on what's right for Wrike. And so each of us tries to wear, as I say, the Wrike cap first before you wear your departmental cap. And that's what we aspire for everyone at Wrike.
Abhay, what do you think the future of work will look like personally?
I think the future of work is collaborative, for sure. And the future of work, I think, is more and more intelligent. And when I think about more and more intelligent, I think we as knowledge workers, and with the way technology is moving, have an opportunity to really focus our time on things that matter most. And we have an opportunity to leverage technology more and more to help us do that.
Abhay, thank you so much for spending this time with me. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And if you feel like you would like to be a part of Wrike, you should check out our career page, wrike.com/jobs. We are actively hiring across the world in our offices and remotely. I will also link the page down below. Thank you so much and enjoy your stay in Prague.
Thank you. Thank you so much.